Peace, everybody. Peace, peace. It's your girl Morgan tuning in for a late night reading of the Hood Health Handbook in part 6 of me reading it. I'm going to just hop right into it. Let me get my pillows adjusted. I'm on the floor tonight. I want to get comfortable. Okay, there we go. No, not so much. Okay. So, in the last part that I was reading, it was talking about all kind of stuff. Why black people scared to go to the doctor, rightfully so. It breezed over the Tuskegee experiment, which was a 40-year experiment giving black men syphilis and no treatment for it, even though there was a treatment for it. And then it even went into like how Hispanics, people of color, now one part where it's going into Native American and Asian. So let's just hop right back into it. The Hood Health Handbook. So the last part was telling us about doing a sauna or a cold shower, getting toxins out of your body by being really hot and sweating, and then also being really cold. So it said try a sauna or a cold shower. Matter of fact, break a sweat and get your blood circulating with a run. Detox and strengthen that body. So now we're on this part by Denise Lopez, entitled Native American Health Now. This piece is based on my conversation with the writer, mother, wife, and activist Diana Joe. It got a footnote. Diana Joe lives with her husband on a Navajo reservation in Lukachukai, Arizona, located near the Chusca Mountains, where she educates through storytelling. She has raised 6 children and now has 13 grandchildren. She writes for Rights. So, this piece is based on my conversation with the writer, mother, wife, and activist Diana Joe. From the onset, I expected her to tell me about the lack of healthcare options in Native American communities. She corrected this misconception right away. She said that in the reservation she lives on, healthcare is provided and accessible. The problem with this, though, is that the care is not so careful for the history of her people. The term Native American is used to refer to the indigenous people of North America who are living within the boundaries of the United States. Prior to the European exploration and their eventual genocide of the indigenous peoples, the native lifestyle and culture had roots that extended from Chile to Alaska. These people had extensive knowledge regarding medicinal plants due to their lengthy study of the land and nature. Diabetes and hypertension. The more the Native Americans have been contained on reservations and forced to adopt Western ways of eating and living, the unhealthier they've become. The real after effects of the colonization and genocide is evident in the 68% increase in diabetes from 1994 to 2004 in American Indian and Alaska Native youths ages 15 and 19, and the 95% of the Native American population afflicted with type 2 diabetes. Hypertension caused by poor diet, lack of exercise, obesity, and alcoholism is present in 1 to 5 Native Americans. Alcoholism. Alcohol was introduced to the indigenous people during their early contact with European settlers. Explorers, traders who sought to gain the upper hand in their dealings gave the natives alcohol because of its effects on thought and reasoning. Think opium in China or crack cocaine in the hood. It wasn't long before Native Americans lost their hold on their lands, goods, and their age-old knowledge. It's been estimated that 80% of Native American youth have experimented with alcohol compared to 50% of U.S. youth in the general population. Internal conflicts between traditional and modern culture, as well as post-traumatic stress and low self-esteem related to the subjugated role in dominant society, have resulted in disproportionately high cases of alcohol use, abuse, and addiction among Native American youth. Diana Joy shared that today alcohol is illegal on the reservation, but because of dependency and addiction, as well as profiteering, bootlegging is a common practice. Dang. Mental illness. Few studies have been done regarding mental illness among the natives. One small study, which had a 20-year follow-up, found that the lifetime prevalence of mental disorders among natives can be as high as 70%. This same study found that males ages 15 to 24 account for 2/3 of all native suicides. Diana shared that she personally went through depression and stress. For several years, she was on Zoloft, which was supposed to balance her, and soon found that it messed up her naturalness. She was being numbed, not cured, and had to deal with new effects that affected her well-being to a whole other degree. She got off the Zoloft and turned fully to native ways to heal. See traditional medicine versus day medicine. Where do I see all this stuff at? Do y'all have them in the back of the book? It keeps saying see on certain parts. See where? Maybe I just gotta Google that book. All right. Further assimilation. In discussing the shift from traditional to modern living, Diana noted that the elders continue to be highly regarded and that the community still seeks their advice and healing. Yet, as time passes, more and more youth are turning away from their indigenous ways. She said this begins with formal education. Children in the reservation are sent away to boarding school once it's time for their formal education to begin. They are taken away from their homes and indoctrinated with a Western worldview and thought pattern. So when you send them all to their schools, to their system to teach them what they want them to learn, that's why you gotta, if you choose to do that, that's why you have to still be educating your child at home as well. You can't just send them to these schools and expect these colonizers to teach them about who we really are. That's just nonsensical. Yep, they're taken from their homes and indoctrinated with a Western worldview and thought pattern. Adding insult to injury, many of the schools that they attend are unhygienic, and the education that they provide is subpar. Some families have opted out of sending their children to school for these reasons. In the past, children were brought into the world by the hands of their loved ones with traditional medicine and good energy. Now, more and more Native women are going the modern route in regards to childbirth. Diana said that now a child is brought into the world with a knife, and if I might add, with drugs. And we all know that once you have given birth in a hospital, everyone entering your room afterwards will offer you birth control. The cure. So how does the Native person come full circle in a society that has designated where and how they can eat, sleep, live, and create? Diana says that we should ease ourselves and our youth back onto our cultural base, focus on building a warrior mentality, and teach our youth to listen to the elders and be open to relearning the old ways. We need to regain the wisdom of our direct connection to all that is around us, from the food that we eat to the people that we surround ourselves with. Be more aware of our words and how they affect us. And in closing, she humbly noted, thank you in advance. Blessings to you. I feel as people of these Americas, we have to make an effort on a common level to educate the youth about the truth. Let's use the things the earth has granted us in education and we can avoid disaster. I want to thank Diana Joe for sharing with me while she spent time with her grandchild. After our conversation, things have become clearer for me, and I know that she's helped me to reclaim some of my own genetic memories. She reconnected me with my own struggle as an indigenous Hermana and affirmed that the road to true health is one that we already have the knowledge to navigate. There is no substitution for our original way of life, only consequences. See the commonalities, we're all suffering. Fake versus real Chinese food by Sincere Justice Allah. Because I'm Chinese, people often come up to me telling me how much they love chow mein and orange chicken. That's offensive on a few levels, but it's also funny because it's like cats are bragging about rocking bootleg. Come on now. Chop suey, beef and broccoli, General Tso's chicken. Sound familiar? All of these dishes were made to serve Americans, specifically white people. The real Chinese traditional diet is much different. Let me explain. Chop suey. This literally means odds and ends, or leftovers in Chinese. This dish was originally developed in the late 1880s when Chinese immigrants with limited resources used vegetable scraps and animal entrails to create chop suey. The popularity of chop suey started in the 1900s in New York City when it became sophisticated to go to a Chinese restaurant and order some chop suey to impress a date. This is called slumming, and whites also went slumming when they visited Harlem to drink and dance. Beef and broccoli. What do Americans like more than beef? Beef and broccoli. Come on, Chinese don't mess with this. Most Chinese were farmers, so cows were often used for farming, meaning they were rarely eaten. Oh, wow. Also, the type of broccoli used in beef and broccoli actually originates in Italy. However, the Chinese do have their own broccoli, known as gailan, or Chinese broccoli, in many supermarkets here. General Tso chicken. Sweet, fried, and chicken is just what Americans love. This dish has nothing to do with General Tso or the Taiping Rebellion of the 1850s. Even General Tso's relatives in Changsha, China, don't recognize this dish. For all you orange chicken fanatics, this is similar to General Tso's chicken. In fact, the creation of McDonald's chicken nuggets borrows much of its influence from General Tso's chicken. The two original sauces that were served with chicken McNuggets were sweet and sour sauce and hot mustard, both of which are used in Chinese cuisine. Why does any of this matter? Because this is another example of how authentic cultures get co-opted, stolen, processed, repackaged, and sold back to the people in a form that is no longer original. Mm. Instead, the remake is weak, less nutritious imitation of a people's traditional ways. This is popular among white people who like going ethnic but not going too far. So, what's real Chinese food? What do Chinese people eat in their homes? Generally speaking, Chinese have a diet that consists of mostly leafy greens such as bok choy or other vegetables, and a small serving of fresh meat or seafood. China's cuisines are divided into 8 distinct regions. The four most popular cuisines are the Cantonese in the south, the Szechuan in the west, the Shandong in the north, and the Haiyang in the east. Probably not saying these right. And keep in mind that there are regional distinctions, such as the fact that Northerners are known to eat steamed buns and use more wheat-based foods than rice. Also, traditionally in the North, soups often accompany meals as a first course. Remember, there's no way in hell that real Chinese food would be as greasy, fried, and MSG laden as was found in the West, because many Chinese are influenced by the principles of Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism. Many Chinese base what they eat on the Taoist five element theory, which advocates an alkaline diet, meaning a lot of fruits and vegetables. If you really want to get down and try the real deal, find yourself a Chinese friend that will either invite you to their house for dinner or take you to a restaurant that they frequent. Strive to go during a lunch special hour for a cheaper meal or order a specialty off item. Often the authentic dishes are listed in Chinese on flags that line the wall. Oh, and use some chopsticks, homie. Here are some dishes for starters: kung pao chicken, mapo tofu, ong choi with chili and garlic, winter melon soup, snow fungus soup, soy sauce chicken, and if you're feeling brave, try you some stinky tofu. Further reading: The Fortune Cookie Chronicles, Adventures in the World of Chinese Food by Jennifer Lee, and The China Study by Colin T. Campbell. Try some authentic food from different cultures. Think homemade, not fast food. Better yet, look up and prepare an authentic dish. That is a very good point. So I didn't realize that actual China people are not making general